If you've been playing guitar long enough, at some point you've read some notation or tab for a chord voicing, and the familiar shape you ended up playing was being called something completely different than what you always knew it as. Maybe you always identified it as a dominant, but now it was being introduced as a form of minor. This leads you to wonder how many more harmonic identities that you don't know about might be lurking within that familiar shape. Well, today we are going to put that question to rest. And that's because in this lesson I am going to tell you all about chord shapes suffering from harmonic identity disorder. But we are going to take advantage of this so-called condition and learn how we can easily play several sophisticated jazz progressions by simply moving the same shape across the fretboard. If you are not familiar with these perspectives, I promise you they will open up new possibilities for both comping and chord melody. I'm Richie Zellin, and I want to welcome you to the Jazz Guitar channel. Let's begin by exploring a familiar chord shape. Let's begin by calling this shape Structure 1 because it can take on many different harmonic identities. I first learned it as a C9. If we view the root being here or on the second string. But we can also view it as an E minor 7 flat 5, this being its root. It can also be a rootless F sharp 7 altered chord. It can be a G minor 6. The root being here or on the first string. And finally, it can also be a B flat major 7 sharp 11 with the 13 if we view the root here. Now, the interesting detail is that all these identities are related because they are generated by the modes of the melodic minor scale, also known as the jazz minor. As a matter of fact, that's what each chord scale I played previously was from. But that's all fine and dandy, and it's all useless information unless you can use these shapes in a progression. So next, let me show you a simple trick to use this structure as the only shape in a 2-5-1. And we are going to look at this in the key of D so we can easily move around the entire fretboard. Our 2 chord is going to be an E minor 7 flat 5, so we're going to view it with the root here on the 4th string. And by the way, this is generated by the 6th mode of the melodic minor, which is the Locrian natural 2. Now, in order to play the 5-7 altered chord, all we have to do is move this shape up the fretboard a minor 3rd. And we end up here, and this is an A7 altered chord if we view the root here. And so this is generated by the 7th mode of the melodic minor, which is the super Locrian. Now, to resolve this to a major 1 chord, all we have to do is move this shape up a half step. And here, we view the root here. And we have a D major 7 sharp 11 13 chord. And this is actually derived from the 3rd mode of the melodic minor, which is the Lydian augmented. This sounds like this. And we can also mess around by embellishing the chord with the note that's a whole step up on the first string. Now let's look at it resolving to minor. The first two chords, the 2-5. Starting here, we go up a minor third. And now to resolve to a minor 1 chord, we want to take the shape and bring it up a major third. And so we end up with a D minor 6 chord. And this is just taken straight from the melodic minor, from the original mode. So, major, resolving to minor. To hear how this cadence sounds in the context of a known standard when resolving to the 1 major, let me play the 4 first measures of night and day. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's hear what it sounds like resolving to a minor 1 chord. And I'm going to play the beginning of Beautiful Love. Now, before we move on, remember that when you are playing drop voicings such as this one shape over the first 4 strings, you can always experiment by transferring the note on the first string to the 6th string. And you'll have a whole new set of new voicings you can employ, which will actually adhere to the same intervallic movement between chords that we've discussed. So we can take this first voicing, we bring the G down to the 6th string. We have this, of course. When we go to this A7 altered, we bring the first string down, which is the flatted 9. And unfortunately, when we bring the 13th on this D major 7, sharp 11, 13, down to the 6th string, it interferes with the root because of the low register. So that one doesn't work. But if we go and resolve it to minor, works perfectly because the minor 6th chord has the root up on top. So it works beautifully on the bottom. Everything I've showed you so far is partially great from a theoretical understanding of how the same shape can cover several harmonic functions by just moving it across the fretboard. However, some of these moves, especially when having to move up a major third from the 5-7 altered in order to reach the 1 minor 6, can be a little awkward. So the solution is now to transfer the exact intervallic order of the structure we are using to a different set of strings in order to have more resources available in one place. So let's transfer it from strings 1, 2, 3, 4 to strings 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the structure will remain the same, and even though it will look different, it will sound identical. After we do this, I'll show you how we can combine both string groups to be able to access all the voicings in one area of the fretboard. So this shape, when transposed to the second set of 4 strings, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, it ends up looking like this. But it sounds identical. It's the same structure. So here we do the same thing. If this is an E minor flat 5 chord, your 2 minor chord, we bring it up, A minor third. Now we have an A7 altered. If we resolve it to major, half step up here, we have the D major 7, sharp 11, 13. If we want to resolve it to minor, we bring the altered chord up again, a major third. So here I'm mixing both groups, and I'm going to play it resolving to a major 1 chord. Here it is resolving to a 1 minor chord. For an additional option, let's transfer the same structure from strings 2, 3, 4, and 5 now to strings 3, 4, 5, and 6. And this puts things even closer. However, be sure to use this string group here only in high registers, as it tends to sound muddy down low. So first we transpose the structure to the second 4 strings. And now what we do is we transpose these 4 notes up here. Let me use this string group with the previous one to resolve the 2, 5 to a major 1 chord. Now let me resolve it to a minor 1 chord, and notice I'm going to use all 3 sets of string groups. The procedure I have showed you is not only possible with this one structure. Because there are 4 notes in structure 1, that means there are 4 inversions of it. And this yields structures 2, 3, and 4. Interestingly enough, when inverted, the intervallic movement throughout the fretboard between these structures remains the same when playing a 2-5-1. Let me quickly show you structure 2. So this is structure 2. And here it's also an E minor 7 flat 5. So we move it up a minor third. Here it becomes an A7 altered chord. And if we move it up half step, it becomes a D major 7, sharp 11. Here it is resolving to a minor 1 chord. I bring this shape up a major third. And it becomes a D minor 6. And of course, I can bring the first string down to the 6th one, and it works with the 2-5 if it resolves to a minor. I'm not going to take up more time showing you the entire procedure for this and the other structures. Instead, I'm going to show you a couple of examples of how I combine all 4 structures to create endless colors when comping and even creating chord melody. For those of you still with me, if you're interested in getting deeper into this, I have prepared an intensive study package that you can download from my site. It includes PDFs explaining in detail the procedure for all 4 structures in regular notation and tablature, as well as several examples in addition to what I am going to demonstrate next. It also includes MP3s of all the examples. And the download is available from jazzguitar.richiezellen.com/premium, and you'll find it under mini courses. So here's a possibility, combining all of them, resolving to minor. Here's another one. I hope this has been useful and you will develop a broader understanding of how to better use these chords with harmonic identity disorder. And remember, there are several more uses and additional examples featured in the download. So if you enjoyed this lesson, be sure to like, and as usual, I welcome your comments and any questions you may have. Also, if this is your first time on the Jazz Guitar channel, be sure to subscribe and click on the bell icon so you'll be notified of my upcoming lessons. I look forward to having you in another one of these informative jazz guitar lessons next week. Until then, be sure to practice, practice, practice. May peace be with you y nos vemos pronto.